Next music video is a song from A Perfect Circle from, I think, their newest album, Eat the Elephant. So for these kind of music videos, unfortunately, I can't really play them. Copyright bullshit, publishers and licenses. That's the world we live in. The setting is all of us are stuck watching our phones, obsessed with screens. They kind of represent this almost like some kind of alien, you know, like it has its own kind of life force. Chords are moving all towards something. And you see one individual who looks up for a moment like something feels wrong. She's noticing in a time where you shouldn't notice. I too notice things that I shouldn't notice. The elites are represented by people with a bunch of VR headsets on. I do feel like completely disconnecting from reality is dangerous and a slippery slope. I think we do that enough already on our phones. So completely hiding your face, enveloping you into an alternate reality that seems so real, I think is very scary. So yeah, your upgrade awaits. The new world order awaits. Maynard's the king of symbolism. So we're all stuck on dopamine, addicted to this chemical that we get from clicking and swiping on things. And the ones who run everything, they want to make sure that everyone is looking down, right? It reminds me of that movie that just came out recently called Don't Look Up. Did you guys see that? Side note, I watched this. That trailer actually doesn't really show the message of the film at all, but basically they're trying to tell the people wait, there's this really serious thing happening and everyone's just ignoring it. Either people just don't believe it or they just scroll past it. And that is very much a theme these days. You can tell people there's something very serious happening and they won't even listen to you. This is past that point. Also, the people that try to do anything about it get censored or canceled. We're basically an energy factory, giving our emotions, our time. Everyone kind of seems emotionless in this video too. We're overrun by our animal desires, scantily clad women on the internet, pornography, even something as simple as gotcha games that do nothing. Addicts of the immediate keep us obedient and unaware. And everyone looks exactly the same. That's something to take note of too. This woman, she's noticing. He notices her noticing. So he brings her to the back to see what exactly all of the chords are leading to. Where is all this energy leading to? Pavlovian despair. That's a very interesting lyric too, because that obviously is in reference to Pavlov's dogs. And it all goes to the grand holy iPad. Here's the 1%. They're all super plugged in. There's no saving them, but also they're exactly where they want to be. Notice they're all in cloaks, completely de-individualized. They're not even on their phones anymore. They have VR headsets on and they cast this cell phone like it's a religious item. Sharing, retweeting, liking. We're continuing the cycle too and sharing it to people that, we care about because we want to give them information in theory, but we're also keeping them in the matrix by doing this at the same time. So we run towards anything glimmering. And that goes back to him calling us all animals, right? Feeding on those animal desires. We're running towards this glimmery, shimmery item the new iPad that just came out. Or it shows wealth. It's a symbol of power, right? Because so many people find their own self-worth in material items and their technology. They might be showing her this this could be you, but then she sees a glimpse of outside. I find it also interesting that they have the people in this room that are the most plugged in, for lack of a better phrase, that are right next to the only exit door of the place. She thinks, what's going on out there that feels familiar and safe? Getting a little curious, so they put these contact lenses in her eyes to kind of plug her back in. You only see what we want you to see. What you notice is within our control now. She's noticing everyone's numb and then this guy bumps into her. That little subtlety of just human contact. That's how starved we are. That one little bump into her shoulder. He wasn't even paying attention. He didn't care because he's looking at his phone. Human to human contact made her think maybe there's something more to it. And it gives her the strength to turn around and see what's behind that door. Remember, However, she still has the contacts influenced by the propaganda that she's already had. I find it interesting here that when she opens it up, it's like there's this big storm brewing outside. It's almost like the narrative is it's dangerous to go out there. You don't want to go out. What does that sound like? This was in 2018. I remember when this album came out. If we think about it since COVID, we're supposed to think that there is imminent threat outside. And that's reflected here in the lightning. It makes the world look gray. This brainwashing that she's had and that we all have makes the outside world look scary. Then she sees a group of people that are just in the middle of all of this. She wants to take a picture of it because that's all she knows. These are the people that have already escaped, and they're very welcoming to her. And they're all holding hands. Again, human touch. And someone can tell that she's still blind by these contacts or whatever. So she burns them off, and it hurts to see the truth. The painful experience of once the veil is lifted, what that feels like. And it hurts for sure. But once you do it, once you just pull it out, then everything's so much clearer. And instead of staying there, now that she knows the truth and her eyes have been open, she now wants to save the rest of the people that she knew back there. We want to help the ones that we know are still trapped in this matrix. I also relate to this a lot because the only way for me to get the message out there is to be on the very platforms that are destroying us in the first place. The people that need to hear these messages are the ones that are brainwashed on these social media sites. But I mean, those social medias will keep you down in the algorithm. I'm fairly convinced that I'm already shadow banned on a lot of social media. I know I'm shadow banned on Twitter. I've checked. I am. I don't know why. My FBI agent just needs to take a vacation, I think. The feds. Maybe that's why I'm shadow banned. And this reminds me, Obama made it legal to put propaganda in the news. And that was all the way back in 2013. Where are they going with this? Right. To be able to save the people that are stuck in the matrix, that means that you need to be in the matrix to get the message out. Now, if they don't want to listen to you after you've said your piece and tried to get them out of the matrix, then that's on them. If you're trying to say your piece and you're trying to save people and get them out of the matrix, and the algorithms are literally fighting you and shadow banning you any way they can, which they will, that's not your fault. But I think that's kind of represented here. So yeah, she goes back in, and now she is trying to help people get these contact lenses out. Many of them are choosing not to. They're just completely ignoring her, or they might be too afraid, so they deny her completely. They still look like human beings, unlike the other people who are just in like robes and VR headsets, but this is the beginning of the de-individualization process and the demoralization of humanity. And yeah, you can see the light is shining right to the face. It gives me the vibes of like Dementors. Am I allowed to talk about Harry Potter yet, or does that still make me a turf? It's kind of sucking the life force out of them. Willingly, we've been rewired by the clever agents within. The elites running the messages that we see, or it could even represent, you know, AI, artificial intelligence, the algorithms keeping us in these endless loops of dopamine as well. Yeah, and eventually it just kind of takes you over. And there have been studies and stuff about how it's bad to even sleep next to your phone because it messes with your brain waves while you sleep. It's not good to sleep with the TV on. My mom has slept with the TV on for a very long time, and I often wonder if that has something to do with the issues she's dealing with her brain these days. Completely uninterested. Living this way leaves you sluggish, exhausted. Looping our reflections, our obsessions draw us in. That's on narcissism, right? All of these e-girls on the internet taking pictures of themselves and doing little TikTok dances and watching themselves over and over and over again. Eventually, of course, it will breed into narcissism. Our obsessions draw us in, right? If you like something, then it gives you so much more of that. So just so you keep scrolling.
They're coming for every second of your life. We used to colonize land, and that's where money was to be made. We colonized the entire earth. They are now trying to colonize every minute of your life. Every single free moment you have is a moment you could be looking at your phone and they could be gathering information to target ads at you. It's weird and it's complicated, and the kids know it and they sense it. That's why their memes are all ironic and detached and self-referential and 12 layers deep, because truth is completely dead to them and they know it. They look at the president, they look at the culture, they go, what the hell is this? They look at like Coca-Cola commercials that are winking. Forget it, you know? know? So like, ugh.
Just wanted to take a moment for Bo Burnham. Definitely one of the most brilliant minds of my generation. This is a visual manifestation of literally just looping, right? The endless loop of content. People squishing chalk. It's embarrassing how many of those I've seen, because I liked one time and now it's in my loop, and all of a sudden it's like, wow, I wonder how many minutes that I'll never get back I've consumed watching this kind of content. Whoa. This also represents like the gacha games, like I mentioned earlier, like only 10,000 XP. Like you're not even making any money doing this. You're literally just wasting your time. And it feels bad because like I love video games, and that's how I started being a content creator in the first place, because I was a streamer. And now it's really hard for me to justify just sitting down and playing a game anymore, because I feel like I have so many messages I want to share with the people that I feel like sitting and just consuming and playing a game and not having commentary on it and not sharing it is wasting my time at this point. And I know that like as a human being, all we have is time, but that means that we should use it sharing a message that's important. And content creation is tough because you put so much time into something that's only a few minutes long, right? Like this VOD will be probably over 2.5 hours, but I'm probably only going to use like 20 minutes of content in it total. And then it's going to be hours and hours and hours of me editing and like hurting my back and sitting in this chair and burning my wrists, you know, so I can share it to the world. And I do it because I feel like I have an important message to share with people. And I've learned so much in the past few years that it's my job to share how I feel. Fix and fixation, no sentience beyond. I really wonder, did they make them all look like each other, or did they copy them and CGI them in later? And so she goes in and she unplugs the main source, the main battery, the iPad. The elites here are all programming them to look at whatever is on this iPad, I suppose. And then so she takes it over, unplugs it, and plugs in her phone. So everyone who is looking at their phone is now able to see reality for a moment. Every now and then people are forced to look at reality with some things, you know, when something's so just like egregiously like in our face, we can't ignore it. And she takes this opportunity to go around and try to burn some of the contact lenses off of people, give them a chance to be saved. We dive like crows towards anything glittering. So like a moth to the flame, we will stay stuck in those loops as long as we look at pretty things. She was able to save a few people and get them to see the truth, but it's up to them to be brave enough to go after it. The elites have now noticed. He's plugging everyone back in, censoring her, so they only have a few seconds to get out. Take a look around, disconnect from the things that bind you and reconnect to the world, to nature, to life around you, to other humans. You know, be a unique voice among the many. So instead of tuning into these electronics, tuning into the propaganda, into the news, tune into each other, human beings, and then lift us all together, lift all higher. Especially after the pandemic, we have all lost our sense of humanity. That's why people are still so obsessed with right and left politics. It's not about the left and the right. If you make them the other, then you lose the humanity in it. And they deserve to be listened to. They deserve empathy and they deserve respect as long as they, do the same for you. We were literally taught the last few years, you could be unalived by having human contact with others. This is from 2018. So we were already in a slippery slope of being in a situation where we were already tuned out from each other. We were already kind of losing that humanity and like sinking into the matrix. But then the pandemic really just It put the nail in the coffin. It really did. This song is pretty prophetic in that way. My favorite album of his is actually on his Pussifer project called Conditions of My Parole. A Perfect Circle is amazing. And I like Eat the Elephant as well for the most part. We need to sit back and, lie supine away with your back to the ground. I hope that we as a society learn to bring humanity back into the way we speak to each other. Too many people got used to being keyboard warriors. They don't know how to be pleasant around other human beings. I feel like a lot of people are socially inept, and I think that the younger generation is at a disadvantage much more than us. Millennials, we got screwed in so many ways, man. Why are millennials so messed up? Well, I don't know. It's probably because when we were all in elementary school, we just saw 9/11 and then nothing got better. We just watched like the most catastrophic event happen when we were children, and then it just didn't get better. And of course, we're all fed promises and lies and stuff. Now this, we are resilient. That is for sure. We had a lot going against us from the beginning. They're being poisoned by their water supply. And if you try to tell them they're being poisoned by their water supply, they'll tell you that you're an Alex Jones conspiracy theorist. So, and all you can do is learn the truth and move forward. And if people are not willing to listen to you, I mean, there's not really anything you can do about that except move on to people who are willing to listen. And that doesn't mean that you should look for an echo chamber. I don't want people around me who are just going to 100% agree with everything I do all the time. I want people to challenge my opinions. It's also not good to constantly have people fighting with you either. And I just won't stand for people negging me anymore. People are just so bitter and take it out on people on the internet. So, but I'm a human being too, and I want to bring humanity into all of my projects, including this one. So I have faith in the future, and my advice is to go touch some grass. Take my advice and go touch some grass after liking and commenting on this video. Thank you so much for being here and plugging into the Matrix just for a little while so you could hang out with me for this music video breakdown. I appreciate you so much for being here. Thank you so much for supporting me. If you'd like to stay connected during my journey to disconnecting, I'll put the links down below. Thank you guys again. Make sure you like this video, share it with a friend. Thanks for being here, and I will see you in the next one.